Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day, and 2023 is upon us, and success is inevitable if you put in the work and you sacrifice and embrace the process. And so putting in the work, let's start there. Putting in the work, I want you to just, they say comparison could be the thief of joy, but I want you to compare your work ethic with everybody around you first. So first, how much success can you expect if you're not the hardest working person in your room, in the office, on your team? That's first. That's not the nation. That's not the state. You may be thinking you're out working people. If you are, great. You're on your way to greatness, but you check yourself and think bigger by looking at other people in different parts of the country. But for now, work. You at least got to be the hardest working person in your organization or in your office. Just start there, because you can have everything you want if you're willing to put in the work and if you're willing to sacrifice. So next one is sacrifice, right? So sacrifice is giving up something so that you can get more back from what it is that you're giving up. So to me, that's an investment. I think people hear the word sacrifice and it has a negative connotation about it of, man, who wants to give up something? But people have to invest. People understand investing in order to get something back. If I invest $1 million today, I don't expect $2 million back next month or $2 million back in a year, but it's doable and achievable in 7 years or 5 years or 10 years. And so what investments are you making today into your future 5 years from today, 10 years from today, not expecting that it's going to be an immediate gratification, immediate return. So we got to sacrifice. People underestimate the sacrifice that's required to achieve great success. I think, Instagram right now and social media can have you looking at a person's lifestyle that has what you want or that they have some high level of success. What I would encourage you to do is go back to the bottom of when they started. How many hours have they put into the game? How many sacrifices have they made? What setbacks have they overcome? What things have they had to do to get to where they are? Everybody, when people say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, we got to prioritize our time. There's 168 hours in a week. Everybody got 168. Everybody listening right now, we all have 168 hours in a week. What I would suggest is maximizing your time. So how do you maximize your time? Two things. One is you got to eliminate distractions. So I think it helps to write things down. Write it down. A lot of the greats that I've seen, they write things down on boards or on paper, but you have to write down, what are the distractions that typically get me? What are the people? What are the things? What things am I going to have to say no to in order to say yes to my dreams? What am I going to have to say? Who am I going to have to say no to in order to say yes to my family? That's what when they say starve your distractions and feed your focus, that's what they're talking about. Is if it was easy, of course you want to be distracted. Of course, the things that distract you are the things that are typically fun. Those are the things that aren't as hard. It takes a lot of effort to stay focused and committed to what it is that you're trying to do. So if you could starve your distractions, feed your focus, then what you want to do is you look at your schedule of those 168 hours and be intentional on, before the day starts or before the week starts, where you're going to be 12 months from today is going to be determined by how you spend your time over the next 12 months. How you're going to put your time into the things that you're doing over the next 12 months. And so if I look at the next 12 months, where I want to be, it starts out with the next 12 hours. Focusing on the present in your schedule, writing it down so you're intentional. If you don't write it down, and you don't have a plan of what you're going to do in your schedule, then life is going to pull you and shake you and drift you each way. Left, right, up, down is going to pull you all over the place. We have to stay focused on our schedule. It's easier to do that if you think about, premeditate, think about, where do I want to put my time? These 168 hours, let me write down exactly what time I'm starting this and what time I'm ending this. What time am I spending time with my family? What time am I putting into my work? What am I putting into my mind, my body, my spirit, my physicality? All these things should be in a schedule, and that helps you to focus on the present, because we have to take it. If you're going to have a good week, you got to focus on the day. Winning today, one day at a time. In those 168 hours, we have to focus on tomorrow. So right now we're in the middle of today. Let's focus on today. But tonight, by the time you go to bed, make sure you have a plan for exactly what you want to do tomorrow. Am I putting my time into the right things that are going to bring me further ahead in a week than I am currently today in that process? And then you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Win the day. Do the things in the process that other people are not willing to do. That's why they call it the process. Otherwise, they would be calling it the party. This is the process, not the party. The party comes after the process. The only place that party comes before process is in the dictionary, okay? Party's going to come before process in the dictionary, but in order to have the party, you got to have the process. In order to have the prize, you got to have the process. In order to have the process, you got to have patience. And so you got to have patience in the process to do what other people are not willing to do. As many times as you could find somebody else ain't willing to work Saturday, there's where you get ahead. Somebody's not willing to work Sunday, that's where you get ahead. Somebody else ain't willing to go to bed, that's where you get it. That's where you get ahead. Wherever you could find people not willing to consistently put in the work or do things in the process, that's where you're going to find yourself getting ahead. Everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants a different lifestyle. They want to be a part of the 1%, but very few people are willing to do what the 1% have been willing to do for years upon years upon years upon years, which is typically different than what average people are willing to do. It's typically investing more than what other people are willing to invest. And so I just want to make sure that we're focused today on doing the things that other people are not willing to do. And then we got to expect setbacks and adversity. To not expect, now I'm not talking about thinking negatively. I'm talking about we have to expect that there's going to be setbacks and adversity in the process. More money, more problems, more greatness, more problems. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be bad weeks. There's going to be tough moments. There's going to be tough situations that pop up. Expect those setbacks. Expect that adversity, and it helps you have a better chance of surviving and thriving after those adversities and through those adversities if you are already expecting some setbacks. I know something ain't going to go right in this game. There's going to be a turnover. There's going to be a fumble. There's going to be adversity that we got to get through. If your team can only play when you're ahead, if you can only play with the lead, if you can only play at home, you can't play away. If you can only play if you're winning, not if you're losing. If you can only play if everybody's cheering for you versus everybody's booing at you. If you can only play if you've never fumbled the ball, if you didn't throw an interception, if you haven't made a mistake, you're not being a professional. Professionals are ready to play after they throw an interception. They're ready to play even if they're 100,000 miles away or 10,000 miles away or 1 mile away and they're not at home. You have to expect that there's going to be a little adversity. Expect for it to get harder. Like as an example, like in video games, you play video games. Typically, when I take my son and we go play video games somewhere, when we conquer level 1, level 2 is harder. When we conquer level 2, level 3, level 4, they got bigger people coming at us, level 5. When you're moving up the chain and you're moving up the game in sports or in the fight game or whatever it is that you're doing, the people that you see when you're fighting for the world title in the UFC is not at the level of the people that you first saw when you were an amateur. In the NFL, here's a good fun fact. Whoever wins the Super Bowl, based off the schedule of everybody's winning percentage that year, the team that won the Super Bowl has the hardest schedule the following year. So the second place team, they play the second hardest schedule the following year. Typically, you'll see in basketball, whoever was first, they don't draft first in the draft. They typically get last pick in the draft. And so the more you win, the bigger you want to go, expect it to get harder for you. This is mirrored by video games, NFL football schedules, and it's mirrored in life that the bigger you want to go, the harder it's going to be. But the harder you become. And so the way through it all is to just be patient, put in the work, don't quit. You're going to want to through the process. Sometimes you're going to want to quit, but be patient, put in the work, don't quit. And success, here's the good news, because all of that didn't sound exciting. The good news is success is inevitable. It's almost a guarantee. And if it's not a guarantee, it's the closest thing you're going to get to a guarantee is betting on yourself doing those things. Because what is a guarantee is if you don't sacrifice, you don't put in the work, you don't have a positive attitude, you don't do those things, that's a guarantee recipe for disaster, that you're not going to have success. More often than not, if you're patient, you put in the work, don't quit, success is inevitable. And as always, we're grateful for the time that you invest into the GRINDcast. If this helps you at all, if you have some folks that we could help, don't forget to spread the message, spread the word. We're always taking thoughts of what you want us to cover too. If there's some topics or there's some things you want to hear on the GRINDcast to some of our consistent listeners, send it to us and we'll do our best to put them on the GRINDcast and get some thoughts out. But we appreciate your time. Let's go out there and get them this year. Let's get it.